It's not something it's something we've been negotiating with for 10 years. But it's not the rule itself is something that New York City is actually proposing, but we are legally required to do this, so we have to proceed with the plans.
What's the purpose of this?
Basically, the idea is to minimize pollutants from getting into the water. It's called the long-term to enhance surface water treatment rule.
It's called what?
The long-term to enhance surface water treatment rule. It's a federal regulation. I know. Just throw it out. But it's basically the idea is that if there's treatment upstream, you don't want the water surface to be open anywhere downstream from the treatment, and that's essentially it's that simple.
I know you can't answer this, but I suspect there's not any plan for the future to build a city on top of this.
No, the cover is basically just that. It's not built to support. You can't. I know when we originally talked about it, someone said the new Yankee Stadium.
I can picture it already. Somebody's going to look at it and say or something.
It's still a drinking water reservoir underneath, so the site is still restricted even though it's covered. All these projects actually have been presented to the public. We've had community meetings regularly for the past 4 or 5 years. Each of these projects has been presented and discussed.
As long as if you could point to the administrative building, the chlorine addition building,
Throughway, this is where the new guardhouse will be.
The central monitoring building.
Central monitoring building is in this area. The chlorine addition facility will be in this area.
No other questions from the board? Lee?
No.
All right, the record will reflect that the applicant requested the item to be put over for next month's meeting as the previous applicant. There being no other items for the special meeting this evening, I'll entertain a motion to close the special meeting. So seconded. Mr. Greco, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously. The special meeting is closed. We're going to be moving into a work session at this point, and I believe we will be allowed to have our special meeting. Thank you very much.
2 minutes.
Take a 2-minute break. We'll see where Mr. Blanco is. Hopefully he's coming. That's Blanco has some concept wise for the new zone. Our work session. It's not submitted, it's a concept. It's not a...
No, this was this is building G in
Just to bring you up to speed, we closed the special meeting. Both applicants put the items over in any event, so you didn't really miss anything. There was some discussion on the second item. We're moving into the work session right now. We're no longer on record because there's no decision making on these items. We're basically just gathering information. And I don't believe there's even any applicants here. However, on the first item, we are honored today to have our council member, David McGloin, here. Is, I believe, a proposal. You're sponsoring the proposal?
Yeah, sponsored
At the city council level, and he's going to give us some information as to the thinking behind the amendment to the zoning ordinance.
Okay, the general ordinance came about as a result of a number of calls that we received, that I received, and some of my colleagues' constituents, having found out that there were certain registered sex offenders living in the neighborhood, and particularly within close proximity to some of our schools. Taking that into account, we conferred with Corporation Counsel's Office, with Frank Rubino, and tried to draft an ordinance that we felt could help protect the children from sexual predators and being within close proximity to them. What this ordinance does, we pay particular attention to not overreach. We didn't want to be put in a situation where this was going to be challenged and possibly thrown out because it had been too broad, and maybe that the requirements were too large. I think there's one going on in Putnam right now where the county exec is actually, he's going through the same thing. He's trying to weigh, the county legislature has passed an ordinance somewhat similar to this, but I believe the distances are greater, and he's concerned that this is so great that it makes the ordinance challenging. This, we tried to, do something that would certainly protect the children from the sexual predators, but also wasn't so broad that it should be challenged. Passed unanimously by the City Council. It was passed unanimously by the City Council, and obviously we hope that the planning board would agree and that we can move this along.
Thank you, Mr. McGloin. Do we have a copy of the ordinance?
The ordinance, I only brought one copy of it.
I'll get everybody a new copy, sorry,
I thought I had packed it.
You're supposed to carry it with you all the time.
Yeah.
It's that and all the other.
Yeah, it's a...
And you laugh at me when I do this at every one of your meetings.
I expect you to have that.
Okay, you're very familiar with it. You can tell us if we're wrong in our prayer. Let me start with a question. The onus of who is supposed to sort of be the gatekeeper, enforcement, but not ultimate enforcement, the primary. Who's the first one? Is it the homeowner? Is it the landlord? Is it the what I'm trying to see here is what onus are we putting on that person or people, and is it really something that is better done through legislation that doesn't have to do with zoning and items like that, and more on the I don't know what other ordinances you could have. Our criminal justice system, our law enforcement involved and things like that. But I just get a little weary when we throw it into a zoning ordinance. Zoning really has to do with the uses of property and things like that. Not we should be involved in law enforcement items.
Well, there's similar items throughout the code. Particularly, you can't have adult establishments within certain areas. So it certainly wouldn't be precedent setting land distribution. And it was just deemed that this would be the easiest way.
But what you're saying there is the use I can see. If you told people you're not allowed to rent your home in this area, that's one thing. But what you're saying now is not that you're not allowed to rent, but you can't rent to a registered sex offender. I can see if you have some major management firm running these properties, they'll set up a mechanism on trying to avoid running afoul of the ordinance. But a mom and pop,
Given that you can get this information online as to who the registered sex offenders are.
my mom and pop don't go on. Okay.
I'd say better safe than sorry. That we allow, if you can write a check for $15, I'm sure there's similar checks that you have done for those types of things.
I just know that even there, I represent a lot of mom and pop landlords. They don't do credit checks.
They should.
Okay, well, they don't. I'm just saying. So it's
And
the
this
management
is
agencies they do
a
it.
tad more important than a credit check too.
Nobody is doubting the importance of what you're trying to accomplish by this. I'm just looking to see where the onus of enforcement should rightfully be, and if it should really be on the homeowner.
And it shouldn't be a homeowner? So you're saying when someone rents their property, they shouldn't know whether or not the person is a registered sex offender?
To me, I would want to know. Okay, there's a lot of things about a prospective tenant that I would want to know, but I don't necessarily